everybody? Wow, we got a new camera! Ugh, I'm always fucking cold. I'll be back. What's up, everybody? Okay, I'm just gonna get past that person, I think, looking at me. Hey, what's up? I got a camera, finally, for you guys because I didn't want to make shitty quality videos anymore, and so I had enough with my phone. So I'm not using my phone anymore. I mean, I'm using my phone, but I am not using my phone's camera. I just wanted to apologize for not making a video last week. I know I said that I would drop them every Friday, but I was having a rough week because I was sick and I was pushing through my training. I wasn't only physically ill, but I feel like I was mentally really drained, and the place I was in was not a pretty one, so I took some time off. So this is why I'm going to share with you guys some advice that I wish I would have heard beforehand, or that somebody really could have taken the time to tell me about before I dove into my prep. But everything is a learning lesson, so I hope that if you're thinking about competing yourself, that you take these things into account because they're super duper important. Okay, let's get started. So for starters, I think that if you want to compete or even considering it and don't know where to start, you need to begin with reflecting on why it is that you're wanting to do this. Is it to achieve a body or to achieve a certain look? Because if it is, I'm sorry, but you're basically setting yourself up for failure in all ways. And maybe you get the physique you want in the end, but that fades. And once it fades, what's inside, is that really what's strong? Or was it just your physique that was strong? Was it your heart that was strong? Was it just your mentality strong? If you're going into this with the mentality of, oh, I really want to look like that on stage, I want to look like her, I want to do that because I'm sick of how I look, or I'm sick of how I'm living, and that's the reasoning, at least that's one of the main reasons why you're going into this, I'd say that you need to really step back and think about your why. Because I tell you from experience that that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to look a certain way. But throughout time, I figured out that it isn't all about that. And what I really gained was my mental state, how I view things, how I treat others, how I treat myself. So my advice to you would be, if you're considering going into a competition or starting to train, I would say make sure that one of your main reasons aren't just for the aesthetics. Another thing I wish somebody would have told me was that competing isn't just, oh, 12 weeks off season, maybe 16 weeks off season, and then another 12 to 15 weeks of on season. It is a full-time job. It is not, oh, you work out, you eat clean, and you go to the gym, maybe do some cardio, and you just do this all over, like every day. It all requires consistency and hard work. It takes up your time, it takes up your energy, and it really transforms you in the physical aspect, but as well as the emotional and the physical aspects. So if you're going into this thinking the way I thought I was going into this like, oh, okay, my coach has said 12 weeks off season, and then it'd probably be like another 12 to 14 until my show. And I thought, oh my god, okay, it's gonna be hard, but I can do this. Week after week, we're gonna get there, and it is not what ended up happening after all. Because as you can see, 2 years later, I'm still trying to go at it. It depends where you start, but if you take an off season, depending how long you take an off season for, it could be a year, it could be 12 weeks, 15 weeks, and then you're on season another 12 to 15 weeks, and then you think of, oh, you hit stage, great, what happens now? It's done, it's over with. It's really not. Oh, it can be, but you also want to make sure that you maintain what you worked so hard to earn. And I'm not saying like, oh, just try and stay lean year-round, because that isn't healthy and it's not sustainable. You can't be that lean year-round. I mean, you can, but it's gonna be a struggle because it's not natural. So after show, you should be ready to reverse diet. You should be mentally prepared to do that, and that doesn't mean you're gonna get all your food back at once. You're gonna slowly increase your food intake from the little that you probably were eating leading up to show, and you're still gonna have to do cardio after. and maybe not as extreme, but you're still gonna have to do all that. Eating little by little more each week, and doing cardio a little bit less and less each week. Also, if you're thinking about competing, I would take a lot of time to research the team that you're going to try and be a part of, or the coaches. Like, what's their background, you know, what kind of style? Are they more online? Do they live around you? Could you meet them in person? Are they going to be available to FaceTime, to text you back, or are they just based off emails? And do they take quite some time to reply, or is it everything, all the information is just given to you by paper? Or can you physically contact them, you know, by hand's reach or by cell phone, and they're gonna be there for you? So the positive things about doing your research is not only do you know what kind of style they're about, you don't really care if you can call them or FaceTime them at any time, then maybe I would suggest going with somebody online if it doesn't really matter. But if you're that type of person, if you're just a beginner, which I was, and you need more support, and you have a whole bunch of questions if you're new to all this, then I would highly suggest that you look for somebody that you feel you can have a heart-to-heart with, and that you can trust, and that's closer to you. Also, I almost forgot, you want to ask them about what their style is. Like, when I mean their style is, how do they go about approaching their diet? Are they more old school, where they just make you eat rice, chicken, asparagus, or ground turkey, or fish? Or are they more on the flexible dieting approach, where you track your macros, where you have flexibility to be human and eat as long as it's within your range of macros? And I think I'm gonna make another video on macros, because I think if you hear macros, you're like, what the fuck is a macro? So now that we are speaking about coaches and being part of a team, if you're considering being a competitor yourself, I would say you need to be financially stable. And I say that because this shit is expensive. Not only do you have to pay your coaches, which coaches range, their prices range from like 600 to the thousands. So it's really up to you, whatever you decide. But you don't just have to pay your coaches, you also have to pay the food that you buy. And if you're buying veggies and your proteins, and not only like chicken and fish, but if you're buying protein powders, that shit adds up. Like your supplements, that's additional, like aminos or pre-workout or vitamins. And if you're in this for the long run, which I'm assuming you are, because this isn't kind of a short-term goal. Like, if you're gonna do this, it's just gonna take you some time, and that's just a part of the process. But if you're in it for the long-term goal, you're probably gonna have to renew your feet with the coaches that you have, because if the 12 weeks pass by, that was off season. Now you gotta pay them for your on season, because they're not together, they're separate. Or I think most coaches charge you by, you know, if you're with them for three months, or like 12 weeks or 14 weeks, they charge different. So be prepared to have to renew your training, how do I say it? Just be prepared to pay the fuck up, because it's not going to be a one-time fee, I'll tell you that much. And that can get expensive. Well, for me, that's just expensive, because I'm only a college student. I'm a nanny. I'm trying to make do with the bills I have and still pay this. And it's doable if you're a college student, it's totally doable. But I know that a lot of people my age rather be spending on like going out to eat, like not to eat at home or bring your Tupperware with you, or like party and buy alcohol. And to a certain extent you can do when you're prepping, but at the same time, not. You need to pay your coaches, you need to pay your food, and come showtime, you're gonna have to pay for registration, which is like $100, almost $200. You're gonna have to pay for whatever class you want to enter. Like, do you want to, if you're a bikini competitor, you want to enter open or novice. Every class that you want to be a part of, you gotta pay the fuck up. You gotta pay $100, and nobody told me that. I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, it's $100 to actually enter the competition. I didn't know. Oh my god. And if you're a girl watching this, you're not a guy, you have to pay for your bikini. A little bikini is no less than, like, you're lucky if you get something less than like $300. It's $300 up. It could be from like $300 to like like 1,000. Mine was 500. That's a different story. I'll talk about it later. But you got your bikini, and you also got to pay for your hair and your makeup, which is like $200, maybe more. And you got to pay for your tan, which is about like another $200. And you got to pay for your travel if you're traveling somewhere, if your show isn't local. And you got to pay for your damn hotel, and you got to pay to stay there the night, because if you're not home, then where the fuck are you gonna sleep? So it's expensive. Don't be like me. And in a way, I wouldn't take it back, because I'm really proud of how far I've gotten based off where I started. But if you want to compete, if you want to be a competitor, give yourself time to build. If you're not the most muscular, or if you weren't the most muscular, if you weren't an athlete, and if you don't know what the fuck you're doing or getting yourself into, just creep in there, okay? Take time to build, take time to feed yourself, take time to bulk, build some muscle, dive your feet in the water, you know, see what it's about. Just don't rush into cutting down and trying to walk that stage. Take time to enjoy building yourself up, because that way you get more food and you get to do less cardio. But if you start higher with like more food and higher calories, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to cut down, which is where I fucked up along my journey. But we still here. So at the beginning of my journey with this, I always told myself, I'm just doing this for me. I'm just doing this to push my limits. I'm doing this to test myself. And I'm doing this because I'm so tired of giving up on everything that I do, because I feel like I'm not good enough, because I'm not strong enough, or because I'm not smart enough, or it's just not my thing. And that's the reason why I decided to do this. Why I decided to do this hard ass thing as part of my bucket list. Like, out of everything I could have done on my bucket list, I decided to do one of the hardest things first. But as challenging as it's been that much more rewarding for everything that I've been through, and all the ways that I've changed. I just want to tell you, as a viewer, as a person, as a human being, whether you're a female or a male, that this sport becomes like, you fully submerge yourself in it if you're in it to win it. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you can be in it to win it, and it's so easy to make it your life, because like I said, it does become your life. Like, down to what you eat, to the time you sleep, to the time you train, everything gets worked around your training. Everything revolves around your prep. It's so easy to lose yourself in this sport. You know, it's easy to say that you're not gonna make it your all, but as you get closer, you keep grinding, you give it your all. It's hard not to get lost in it, because realistically, it does become your life, and it becomes a part of you, because you're dedicating so much sweat, tears, and blood into it. Of course, you can't say, I'm not gonna make it my life. But if you're not making it your life, then you're kind of setting yourself up for failure already, you know? And I'm not saying that whatever goal you have is to win, because initially my goal with this wasn't to win a trophy or to win a medal or to be top 5. It was just to step on that stage and say, motherfucker, I did it, you know? It was just to walk up there and be proud of myself for not giving up and for sticking through the shit that I thought I could never do. But in that, it is so easy to get wrapped up in it. But I just want you guys to know that if you're thinking about doing this, okay, my camera's turned off, but I turn it back on. But if you go into this, I want you to know that whether you walk stage or not, or whether you meet the show date or not, that this doesn't define you. You know, it's, in the end, if you want to go pro, of course it's going to be a part of your identity, because you love it, because you want to strive to be the best of the best. But if it were ever to not be there, just make sure that you don't get per se lost in the sauce. You know, you are the sauce. You're saucy, but if it were to disappear, would you still feel whole? Would you still be whole? And the answer should be yes, because looks should never break you. They should make you, build you, make you more confident. But what truly matters is what's inside. It's going to be so easy to compare yourself to other people and their looks or where they are on their journey. But the thing is, you can't compare yourself to anybody but the person that you were yesterday, you know, or who you're trying to be tomorrow, trying to be the best version of yourself. When it comes down to it, this sport, oh, sorry, I got a little hair. You're being judged for your looks. You're being judged for your physique, and that's just what it is. Like, there's no way around it. That's what you're signing up for, and it sounds kind of shallow, but that's what it is. Your physique, your posing, your tonus, your leanness, the muscle, that's all what you're being judged for. It also, your hair, your face, your makeup, everything is taken into account. And it's important to note that in all that, your journey is unique. Nobody is one like the other. One day you're gonna look at somebody and maybe want something that they have. Maybe it might be a characteristic that they have, or it might be look wise. And you never know that maybe behind you there's somebody admiring the same thing about you that you're admiring about the other person. Or maybe you're struggling over here comparing yourself to somebody else, wishing you had what they had, or that you had it maybe as easy, not knowing that the person in front of you or behind you is secretly dying as well. And what I mean dying is that when your food is low, when your carbs are low, and your energy is low, and your cardio is high, and you still have to train as hard leading closer to show, it's going to be so much easier to think that somebody has it a lot easier, maybe because they have more food. But the truth is that you don't know where that person started because you don't know them. And maybe you might be close friends with them, but you don't have the same physique, you don't have the same genetics, you don't have the same athletic background. You are not them. That is not your life. So just stay in your lane and focus on you. Focus on what you can do, and that is just improve on yourself. Like, if she or he is inspiring you in the way that, oh man, look at their biceps, look at their glutes, use it as motivation and use it as fuel instead of using it as a way to break yourself down and tell yourself that you're not good enough. Because you are always going to be good enough, whether you're lean, whether you're bulky, whether you're fat, whether you're skinny, whether you're short, whether you're tall. We're all different, so own that shit. In my journey of fitness, in the gym, of health and lifestyle, I've met several people in my journey, and some of them were great, and some of them taught me lessons, good and bad. They taught me about myself. But what I would suggest is to surround yourself around the people that make you feel good about yourself, and not just physically. You're gonna be around people who physically look like they've been lifting more than you, and they probably have been. But don't let that derail you. Don't let that bring you down, and don't let it make you feel like any less, because they work just as hard for what they have. Maybe they might even make you feel good about yourself. Like, oh my God, I remember the days where I used to look like him or her. I remember the days where I didn't have anything, and now I at least have a little bit. You're gonna have moments of being proud of yourself. But despite the looks of the people around you, whether you're inside the gym or not, or going out to eat, just make sure that they feed your spirit and they feed you good energy as opposed to anything else. Make sure that the people around you make you feel like a better person, and like that you're enough, and that they challenge you and they motivate you instead of making you feel like shit. And I say this from experience because some of the people that I had been around or surrounded myself with were just so, focused on the end game and had such tunnel vision to achieve a certain look. And maybe they were great in all those aspects, but they lacked in where it truly mattered. They lacked in other parts that I know where I stood. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. I just feel like spiritually and emotionally I was more grounded than these other people, which were just focused on looks. That's why I say it's really easy to get lost in the sauce. But you gotta be the sauce. Don't get lost up in that bitch. Yes, trophies are nice, medals are nice, and I hope you guys also know, like, if you're thinking about competing, there can only be one number one winner. I mean, of course there can be 5 to 6 winners depending on how many people the judges choose, and they all go in order, like what, first place, second place, third place, fourth, fifth, sixth, and those are all winners. But there's truly only one winner, quote unquote number one winner. That's BS, because if you really fucking worked your ass off to get there, and you gave it all you got, and you challenged yourself, and you met that stage, and you felt confident as fuck, and all your family's there to support you, your friends, and not only did you spend so much time and dedication into walking that stage, but you also spent money. You transformed in every way possible, and I hope it's in the best way, because this kind of sport can chew you up and spit you out if you don't go about it the right way. But you already won. If you step on that stage, even if you don't win a trophy, you already won. Like, not many people can do what the fuck we're doing or what the fuck we're about to do. It's hard. And I know myself that I tend to doubt myself, and I've wanted to quit so many times. In the past I have quit, but then I came back. Last week I had my serious doubts of like, can I even do this? Do I even want to do this? Is it worth it? Those were all the negative thoughts of me comparing myself to others getting to me. Because right now I'm still going at it. I still have time, and I also have to remember it's only my first show, you know. And when I get to that stage, I just know that I'm going to feel super proud of myself. Do Smurfs pee blue too? The last piece of advice I would give you for today, because I'm probably gonna do probably gonna be giving you guys more advice or my opinions on things, it would be to know that if you want to compete, there are gonna be many times where you feel like quitting or feel like it isn't worth it. And if you ever give up, make sure you take a break to really reevaluate your why you're giving up or why you're taking a break and what you're gonna fix in order to come back stronger. Because guaranteed that most likely it will happen, either because you feel like your coach isn't a match, or maybe you just don't feel mentally ready for it, or maybe you find out that physically it's just exhausting and it's not what you want to do just yet, or maybe at all, and that's okay. But whatever it is that you decide, or wherever it is that you are in the process, it is meant to be for you, you know? It's meant for you. Don't compare yourself to another thinking that you're either ahead or you're behind, because you're exactly where you're supposed to be. So just always love yourself through every stage, and just try and appreciate who you are now in time, as opposed to always thinking of what you can become. Because you only have now, you don't have tomorrow. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Who you are now, that's all you have. So please just love yourself, be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself, and be your biggest believer. Don't be your biggest doubter, because it's guaranteed that you are your biggest doubter, because you're your worst enemy, you're your worst critic. But don't give up, keep pushing, and just know that you can do it. And of course, you always have to have a time limit. There's obviously you're going by weeks, how many weeks out you are from your show, but this kind of thing isn't everything. It should be a part of you. It should add to your happiness. Even though sometimes you're gonna suffer through it, you should enjoy it, you should love it just as much as you love yourself. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, you guys. If you have any questions, or if you guys want to see a part 2, please let me know, because I know I talked for quite some time. But yes, if you found this helpful, or just enjoyed me talking about my experiences and the advice, or if you can relate to this in any level, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I would love for you guys to follow me on Instagram at KIMUNOZ, which is at Kim Munoz. I will try to be consistent as I can about posting every week, but please just let me know also what kind of videos you would like to see. I've been so busy with school and work and my training, but I really want to also make videos where I can get up and get out and show you guys more than me just sitting in a room. But if that's what you guys want to see, just let me know. I don't mind making other types of videos for you guys. Okay, have a good day. Please love yourself, love your moms, love your family, and love God. Bye.